I cover my shirt up.
All right, ladies, welcome to another self-love conversation. And tonight, ladies, we are going to talk about a wonderful topic that we all should be talking about, and that is around domestic violence. And the reason why we're going to talk about that is because we always want to make sure we keep things at the forefront, where we are continuously educating you about things that we know that go on that is only talked about, during certain times of the year, or, just when it is popular or if it's hype. But I have a wonderful woman who is going to talk about domestic violence tonight with me. She is an entrepreneur. She's an author. She is a veteran. She has a lot of stuff behind her name, and her name is Lateka Starnes-Council. Did I say it
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. And I just want, before we get into everything talking about the topic of domestic violence, just give our listeners an overview of who you are. Your bio is so long and so impressive, but I just want them to hear it from you.
Well, I am Lateka Starnes-Council. I'm a mother, wife, daughter, sister. I am a Navy veteran. I am a domestic violence and narcissist abuse survivor. I'm an author, model, speaker, trauma recovery coach. I am a licensed esthetician, but I coined the term hemp esthetician because I specialize in hemp. So my spa is hemp based. I am a hemp transporter, a hemp broker. I'm I'm just a hustlepreneur.
Mm-hmm. I said when I was reading your bio, I said this lady does a lot of stuff. And does that come from the discipline of being in the military, where you know how to organize yourself and time and everything?
I wish I could say yes to that, but no. Um, it comes more so, honestly, I had to sit back and think. It comes more so from my anxiety, from my trauma, to where if my mind shifts to something, I always try to keep myself busy. And it's more of I try not to have an idle mind. Because they
Mm-hmm.
say an idle mind is a dangerous mind. So I pretty much, if my mind says, this today, I attempt to do it. So I prefer to be a jack of all trades versus a master of one. So that way, if anything shifts with me, whether it's mood or health, I can shift and navigate with it.
So tell us how you got here. Like, what is, the backstory of this? What was your story with domestic violence that allowed you to start to embark on this journey?
And funny you asked me that question because I just had my therapy session today, and me and my therapist literally went back and we were talking about domestic violence. So I will literally always, you know, relate it to my second marriage that I ended. But when me and her talked today, I had to go back in relationships to where it started earlier, but it was more so, with the boyfriend versus a husband. And
Mm,
you see things with your boyfriend, you don't really look at it as, domestic violence, because in our mind we think domestic violence is normally, oh, they're married, oh, they've been together for 19, those, old relationships.
right.
So I say over the course of time, it was, a combination of things. But I'll say moving forward after my second marriage ended, that's where everything to me did like a whole 360, to where it was like, okay, this is domestic violence. You need to sit and revisit. But I really didn't get into tune with everything until about 2012. So like 2010, I attempted to take my life. 2012 is when I decided to get help for everything. And I told myself in like 10 years living, I was like, I'm still here for a purpose. I need to use my voice and guide someone else through the storm. And at first, like when you go through domestic violence, you don't speak about it because you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
To me, it was like I had a second failed marriage. So, it's like a whole bunch of shame, embarrassment. So it took me some time. I would make posts or blogs, but it was like I would hide behind my words so no one saw the face.
Hmm.
Um, so it took me some time, but then I was like, I gotta be the forefront. Not enough people are talking about it to where it's just swept under the rug, and it looks like everything is good when it's not. And
Right.
I really hit the ground running this year to where I was like, I got to be that guiding light to someone through the storm.
But how did you get there? Most of the women that I talk to that experience domestic violence, you know, even like my sister, she's not here anymore, but I saw her in a domestic violence relationship with her boyfriend. And it was more like, you know, she would always tell me, well, Gloria, when you know your boyfriend, you know, they want to play fight with you, and then they pull your hair a little bit and they just say you're playing, you know, really don't really start paying attention to that. And when they feel like, you know, um they're in a situation where you're having an argument but you don't really do too much, you want to pay attention to that. So it's like, what was those things that was leading up to it? Because I know like a lot of women say that, you know, they didn't even think that it was, you know, something that they would experience, but then they find out their mom went through it, their grandma went through it, and then it was, you know, like just this ripple effect. So when
That's
did
pretty much how mine kind of went. Like when I say when I left my second marriage, it took me to the point of being kicked down some concrete stairs and having fractured ribs and being in the hospital.
Mhm.
That was my more aha. That
Yeah,
was that I got to let's go. Cause I had my kids and it was like I was going through, in the house,
yeah,
little arguments here, like, like your sister said, little arguments here, but I did more of a safety thing. I
mhm,
started moving my daughter's stuff out. Like my older two lived in South Carolina and my baby lived with me. So I started moving her stuff out of the house, moving her stuff. Then I told my, then husband, oh, well, she's going to go stay with my parents.
yeah,
Then I started slowly moving my things out the house. And I just got to the point where it's like, okay, let me move slow. I was trying to do things to where it was, you don't notice that I'm moving things. But it just got to the point where, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sleeping, I'm getting snatched out of bed and drugged through the house. It took me a long time before I actually got, like female, women, we like high beds.
yeah,
I got tired of getting slammed on the ground. So it took me a while. I used to sleep on an air mattress. I would sleep on a mattress. I would lay on the floor because I was so paranoid about getting snatched. But I say my final moment was going down them stairs and getting stomped on and basically having to go to the hospital. And I was just like, I got three daughters.
yeah.
I gotta, I got out of the military to
Protect
be a mother
them.
to my daughter. I got out to be a mom to them. I'm like, I got
Right.
out to be a mom to them. So I'm like, I can't lose my life trying to be a wife. And
Correct.
another thing a lot of people don't understand is when you are a woman, and some men go through it too, but when you are a woman and you've been doing so many things on your own and you get with someone, you go through that honeymoon phase where they want you to be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, or you don't gotta work, I'll take care of you. That is where that control is coming in. But we're so in love that we're looking at, oh, I'm a kept woman. And I tell people, you gotta look at that kept woman. Is she kept by force or is she kept by choice?
Wow.
And that is pretty much where I ended up finding myself. And I tell people, when me and my kids' father, like when you got your baby daddy, y'all already got y'all own issues of why you broke
That's
up.
right.
And I tell people, if I have to be in the next relationship and I gotta call one of my baby fathers to come help me, they gonna know something is wrong because they know me better than anybody. And that's pretty much when I got to the point before the stairs, I was leaving. He let me leave. But
Yeah.
little do I know, I didn't have no money. I ain't had no debit or credit card. I didn't have a car key, but you let me leave with my purse thinking I was going somewhere. I had to call my daughter's father, and the first thing he said was, Tika, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And I don't want him in the mix, but I'm like, okay, now I gotta maneuver this situation to where he's involved indirectly. Now I gotta go. And then that day I was leaving is when I met them stairs, and it's just like
And
that's the
and
worst
it had
feeling
to come
ever.
down, yeah, but it had to come down to a decision. But the beautiful thing that you said is like, you know, I had to go ahead and get away because, you know, I couldn't stay here and try to be a wife, try to keep this fantasy going where I knew that this was something I wasn't living. And most of us women, when we do get into marriages and when we do get into these relationships, It's like you want to be able to have that fairy tale life, right? Where the man is
You
doing the
do.
man thing and you're doing the woman thing, and you feel like, the man is taking care of everything. So you are safe and you have that security.
Yeah.
Where when you look around, and all of us been through it, because I've been through a divorce too, where you look around and you like, damn, well, they really control most of the stuff. And now I got to figure out how I go ahead and rebuild my life. So it's like you went through what you went through, you made a decision to leave. How did you rebuild your life? Because a lot of women are scared of that part. That's why they stay. You see what I'm saying?
Boy,
Because
that
that
rebuild is the
part,
hard part. That
that's
part
right.
is the hard part.
That's
Because you
where
got to
you discover
remember,
yourself, though, right?
you already, you've already, I'm in a fairy tale fantasy. It's like, oh, he buying me this, that, and the third. You look like it, but then you getting black eyes, fractured ribs, and whatever going on at home. And when you do make that decision to leave, it's either you already got an exit plan to where you got people to come on the go when he's gone to pack out, or you got to do like I did. I left with nothing. I came home to South Carolina. I came home one weekend to visit for a week, and luckily they were taking, housing authority was doing applications. So,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I need to go do an application. And I told that lady, I was like, hey, if husband right now, I have 3 children, I'll be homeless. And she was asking me family question. I told her, I was like, I ain't lived with my parents since I was 18. I'm not going, I have my own kids. I'm not going, but I ain't been there since I'm not going home.
Right.
And she gave me the application, and she said, I'm gonna mail you if you get qualified. She mailed me 3 letters. I never received any letter because he kept getting the mail. He had control of the mailbox key.
Mm-hmm.
And she said something didn't seem right. So she called me and she was like, that wasn't protocol. But because I told her my situation, she let me know I got approved for housing. And I was like, hey, I'm in Virginia. I can't, like, if I come, he's coming with me because he's going to drive me home. She let my parents pay all my security deposits. And
Mm-hmm.
once my parents secured that, I just made the decision. I was on the phone with my friend from high school, and it was just like something in me just told me to confide in him. And he was like, "Yo, I'm finna Western Union money. Get on the bus." I got on that Greyhound bus for 11 hours to come home with nothing. I came here with nothing, no furniture, no clothes, no nothing. I felt the best sleep I could get laying on that floor because I could finally sleep. I didn't have anything, but I could sleep. I was free. And
Yeah.
I just let it be, if I gotta be on housing authority and receive any government assistance I need to rebuild myself, and I say those were the first 3 years of my life that I can say were stress free due to me receiving a little welfare check, living on housing, and getting food stamps. Those 3 years, I got to rebuild and refine myself. I got to refocus. It was just one of those, I could finally breathe.
That's
And it's
right.
hard because you're so used to having that financial security or that help with them, but
But that freedom
it's
means
gonna be rough. That
everything.
when I say
That,
go to sleep at night, that peace of mind.
that freedom means everything. And
I
that's
wouldn't,
what,
like I wouldn't change it for nothing.
no, and that's what the women need to know. It's like if you're in a domestic violence situation, I want you to be able to, do what you need to do to have your exit plan, like you were saying, because that's important too. You want to make sure that you're safe, but don't be afraid of starting over, because that's where your freedom is. Don't be afraid to walk away from all that stuff, because it ain't shit but stuff
Yeah.
that you can get again, right? Stuff
Well,
that you
no,
can get
when I say
again.
get it, you probably, as long as it's not, no, and I tell people, as long as you can get your sentimental values out, if move that's your priority. If that means a lot to you, those are the things you need to get out of the house while you're making your exit. But if it's other little materialistic things, clothes come a dime a dozen.
That's right.
Gucci go out of season. Those are
That's
seasons.
right. You
So,
can get all that stuff again. And
and get
and
it
even
better.
if and even if you have to leave your job, there are plenty of jobs out here. Don't feel like you won't be able to get a job anywhere. You might not be able to get the job you want
Yes.
at the particular time, but you will be able to get something, all to maintain your freedom. And you're a testament to that, because you left, you rebuild your life. Now you're an entrepreneur. an author, esthetician, all this stuff. So when the entrepreneurship come into it, where you're like, now I got my freedom, I got this, I'm going to do everything.
Because I have PTSD and I have anxiety. So I'm like, bro, I can't sit in nobody's workspace. This ain't
Right.
working for me. I can't punch a clock. Like, but I try,
I get it.
I didn't try.
Yeah.
Because I try. I mean, I'm talking about, we're going to talk about work resume. I started out as a cosmetologist before I joined the Navy. So I was licensed to do hair.
Yeah.
Joined the Navy. I got out of the Navy. I worked in a daycare as a cook. Then I became a daycare, provider. I did anything child care from daycare to paraprofessional. I was a librarian. It's like
Yeah.
I work people. I'm a school teacher. It's like I work jobs, but I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, this ain't working for me. I'm like, I got to go.
Yeah.
My first thing that I did for entrepreneurship was I started a clothing brand that I'm actually gonna bring back.
Mm-hmm.
And starting over, I lost everything in the flood here in 2015 in South
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. So I lost
Okay.
everything, my house, my store. So I was like, that's two times. All right, whatever. It bothered me, but it didn't bother me.
Right.
Um, and I was just like, either I'm gonna struggle or hustle, and that is literally the name of my brand, struggle or hustle. It's like
Right.
either you gonna do it or you ain't.
I love
Um, that started going. Then I rebranded it and I started a new one called Hustlenomics.
that. Mm-hmm.
Then I just started blinging, and I was like, people pay money for me to bling your shoes. People pay. So that got my interest. And then I was like, okay, let me revert. The life happened. And I was like, let me go back to what I've always liked. And it was skincare.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, with me being a veteran, they be big on hemp and CBD. I was like, well, let me see what is what. So that is where I became the hemp transporter, hemp broker for South Carolina. And I was just like, well, let me do something different since everybody's on the skincare wave. Let
Yeah.
me just go ahead and do hemp-based skincare. So everything in my spa is hemp-based.
Mm.
And from there, I was just like, okay, self-care. So me healing is where my books come in at. So it was like I had another book called Suffering in Silence While Walking in the Dark. And that
Wow.
was me talking about my time in the military, from me being raped to me being with postpartum depression, my domestic violence, marriage, and everything in between. But I just kept getting so emotional that I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I wasn't ready. So what I did was my 4 books that I did have out, it's me talking to myself in third person. But I just broke it down to, instead of one book, I just broke it down
Yeah.
to where I could actually, I'm talking to everybody. I didn't make it just gender based. It was like anybody who picked that book up knows, okay, you got to adjust your crown. Men wear crowns too. So King, adjust your crown.
That's right.
Everybody manifests greatness. If you have any trauma, you're living with PTSD. Men also, you got to pick those pieces up after an abusive relationship. It may be whatever you view as abusive. So it was just me talking to myself, but I'm just like, I got to stick with it. And since then, I just kept, I'm like, I want to do this. But I
Going.
always try to do it to where everything ties into one another.
Absolutely. And you just keep growing and excelling and excelling. So did did you find love again after all of that? And was it hard for you? And if you didn't, how are you working towards that? Do you find yourself being more open, closed? Are you in the process where you just leaving that alone for now? Because for me, I'm in a position where I'm like, I don't even want to be bothered. I'm gonna be honest with you, where I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm content right now. If it happens, it happens. If not, I'm okay. So where are
Um,
you?
I'm in my third marriage.
Okay, so you did it again.
I'm gonna just leave it there.
Okay, so now what happened? So as you move along in all of your endeavors and everything that you're doing right now, and being focused on all of your businesses, how do you find time to take care of you?
Self-care. See, I teach self-care, and I literally I'm big on self-care. if I feel like a day, you know, I'm the boss. So it's like I open my book, I close my books. But not only that, I tell everyone, no matter what job you work, you need to self-care, whether it your form of self-care, you need a mental health day. And I was big on that teaching. I'm like, I can't tell you a month. I work every day, every week, because I need a mental health break. So I always try to do it now. Even if I get up and go inside my spa, I may go in there and do body contouring on myself or give myself a facial or, just lay under the sauna blanket for 45 minutes. But I'm big on self care because you can't pour from an empty cup. And
Yeah.
I'm big on living and leading by example. So I'm here to help you through your storm and to teach you self care. I need to do it myself because, one point in time I didn't. But it's like I have
Absolutely.
to do better. And with me having daughters and, my nieces, if this is, I may be your role model, but you look at me, you look up to me. So I have to show you it's okay to start over and it's okay to say no. Those boundaries are there. It's okay to be like, today I'm just going to have my hair pulled up. I'm not brushing my teeth. I'm in my pajamas all day. It's your form of self care is best for you wherever you feel as though you get that mental break.
Wow. So what do you have coming up? And how do we find this salon and all of the books and everything that you're doing?
Okay, we're gonna go with all of my books. Lateka Starnes-Council are on Amazon, so there are 4 on there now. Be on the lookout. I am working on 4 more to release in 2023. I'm gonna have workbooks, journals. I'm gonna do everything digital. Herbal Euphoria Training Institute will launch next year because I am a certified phlebotomist, so I will be doing phlebotomy training and teaching people how to set up their drug testing labs.
Wow.
Um, I'm hoping to go on a book tour and I want to do more speaking events. So I'm going to manifest all of this greatness. My spa is located at 170 East Westmark Boulevard in Sumter, South Carolina. But
Mhm.
if you are not in South Carolina, you can visit the website at herbaleuphoriaskin.net and you can buy all skincare products that are hemp based. And with me being the hemp esthetician, I am nature's medicine for melanated skin. So everything will have turmeric in it to help with hyperpigmentation and to even out your skin tone.
Oh man, my ex-husband's family is from Sumter.
Oh wow.
So we probably crossed paths
Yeah,
many
boy. And
times.
don't even
How long
know.
you been there?
My mom is from here. I moved back
Oh Lord,
the
who's your
first time
mom?
in, oh, we'll talk offline. I moved back.
I know.
I moved back here and I graduated from Sumter High. So it's like 9 times out of
Mm,
10,
okay.
small world.
It really is. And give us your social.
Everything is I am Lateka SC.
I am Lateka SC. Thank you so much for being here and doing this podcast. I really
Thank
did
you.
appreciate our talk. And one of the things, ladies, I want you to take away from this is the whole fact of, when you going through a domestic violence situation, one of the things that you talked about is make sure that you have a plan on how you're going to get out. Once you have that plan and you execute that plan, don't be afraid to go ahead and rebuild your life. It is going to be hard. It is going to be difficult. You are going to have to do things that you really don't want to do. You will have to be able to give up the life that you have, but your freedom is
Hmm.
the most important thing. Your freedom in your life, and especially if you have children, is the most important thing. But the beauty about it all is that once you have your freedom, you can do whatever it is that you want, and you can soar and you can live your dream. And that's what it's about, because you have someone who's in front of you who has been talking to you, that you're watching right now, who has done it. So you can't say that it's not possible because you're looking at someone who did it. And that's the beauty of the work that we do, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Gotta
So,
guide that light.
yes, I thank you for being here, and we are going to talk offline. I'm going to stop this. I see you
All
ladies
right.
later. Bye.